Hey everyone, so if you've been following the Terminal List Dark Wolf on Prime Video, you know that first season ended with some serious intensity. Today we're breaking down everything we know about a potential season 2, what we can expect from Ben Edwards' journey, and how this all connects to the original Terminal List series. What is Dark Wolf? For those who need a quick refresher, the Terminal List Dark Wolf is co-created by Jack Carr and David DiGilio for Prime Video. The show follows Ben Edwards as he navigates the dangerous world of warfare and espionage, and we really get to see his psyche evolve throughout this journey. What makes this show really interesting is that it actually serves as a prequel to the Terminal List, connecting both narratives together. How Season 1 ended. Season 1 had an absolutely suspenseful conclusion. Ben's missions reached their peak when he discovered some serious betrayal from his spy master and CIA legend, Jed Haverford. Turns out, Haverford had been secretly working with Iraqi intelligence to help turn them into a nuclear power. Pretty massive, right? With the help of his teammates, Ben managed to use Jed's own tools against him, captured him, and threw him in prison. The season wraps up with Ben using his signature boat from the original series as his new home. He's starting this new life where he's tackling the CIA's toughest missions while trying to create a safe space for himself and his crew. Season 2, release date. Now, here's the thing. As of right now, Season 2 hasn't been officially greenlit yet. But if we're being optimistic, and the show does get renewed, fans are probably looking at a return sometime between 2027 and 2028. Yeah, it's a bit of a wait, but considering the scale of production for a show like this, it makes sense. Ben's transformation into a CIA operative. So what would Season 2 actually be about? Well, there's a huge gap between where Ben is at the end of Season 1 and where we see him in the Terminal List. At the finale, Ben gets a visit from his former teammate, played by Pablo Schreiber, and this basically opens the door for his next chapter. Season 2 would likely dive deep into Ben's transformation from being this Navy SEAL with an iron will into becoming a full-fledged CIA ground branch operative. We're talking about someone who has to make those ruthless, morally gray decisions that field agents deal with every day. Vic Rodriguez connection. Here's something really cool for fans of the novels. During that scene with Schreiber's character, he mentions that he's working with an operative named Vic Rodriguez. If that name sounds familiar, that's because Vic is a fan-favorite character from the original Terminal List book series. In the novels, Vic Rodriguez is closely connected to James Reese and Raife Hastings' adventures. The fact that Rodriguez shows up in the finale suggests that Season 2 could seriously expand the show's scope and deepen its connection to the source material. Rodriguez has been described as a total badass who tends to break the rules, so Ben might find himself in some pretty wild situations alongside him. The lie detector scene. There's also this really intriguing moment during Ben's lie detector test where we see the silhouette of a CIA veteran watching his every move. These mysterious figures could end up leading Ben's next task force, giving us a much deeper look into the secrets of the CIA. And remember, since this is a prequel, we already know where Ben's story ultimately ends up, which adds this interesting layer to everything. Returning cast members. Let's talk about who we can expect to see if Season 2 happens. The first season was absolutely packed with twists and turns, which means the fate of every character was pretty much up in the air. Plus, with the inevitable change of setting, the cast is definitely going to see some major changes. But since Ben Edwards is the heart of the story, Taylor Kitsch is almost certainly coming back as our soldier-turned-CIA operative. Alongside him, we should see Tom Hopper returning as Raife Hastings, Luke Hemsworth as Jules Landry, Dar Salim as Mohammed Mo Farouk, and Shiraz Sarfati as Tal Varan. Chris Pratt's return? Now, Chris Pratt's involvement in Ben's storyline has been pretty minimal so far, but given how complex the espionage world is in this universe, there's definitely a possibility he could reprise his role as James Reese in Season 2. Who won't be back? Unfortunately, not everyone made it out of Season 1 alive. The deaths of Eliza Paresh and Ish Reinhardt had a massive psychological impact on the surviving crew members, so it's pretty unlikely that Rona Lee Shimon and Michael Ealy will be returning to their roles. There could be a chance for a flashback or dream sequence, especially considering Ish's relationship with Ben, but those kinds of scenes are pretty rare in this show. Jed Haverford's fate. As for Jed Haverford, played by Robert Wisdom, his future is kind of uncertain. He's locked up now, but considering how much influence he has over the intelligence network, he could still have a presence in the story somehow. His co-conspirator, Cyrus Rahimi, on the other hand, is definitely done. His death pretty much guarantees that Elaine Ali Washnevsky won't be coming back to the series. Ben's moral journey. One of the most compelling aspects of a potential Season 2 is exploring Ben's moral decay. Season 1 definitely showed us his internal conflict. He's torn between his duties as a soldier and his duties as a human being. But we haven't yet seen the full transformation that leads to where he ends up in the original terminal list. Season 2 would likely track his gradual adaptation to the CIA's secretive and often morally complicated ways of operating. Will this lead him down a really dark path? Possibly. But one thing seems certain: he won't lose faith in his team. Raife's uncertain future. Raife Hastings has an even more uncertain future ahead of him. He's cut ties with the CIA, but his bond with Ben is stronger than ever now. The big question is whether he can truly walk away from military life and live peacefully. Given how brutal this story is, that peaceful ending seems pretty unlikely. If Season 2 happens, we're definitely going to see more intense conversations between Ben and Raife about ideology and trust. Their differences are only going to become more pronounced as the story continues. The core team. Beyond Raife, Ben's got a solid crew he can rely on. Mo, Jules, and Tal are all likely to become even more important moving forward. Tal's arc could be particularly interesting. There might be gaps in Mossad's intelligence network, and she could end up hacking deeper into the system to expose the truth. Mo and Jules would probably back her up as she deals with the fallout, especially since their standing in American intelligence has improved significantly after Jed Haverford's arrest. What's next? So basically, if we get a Season 2, we can expect the crew to reunite under completely different circumstances to face the next major threat to global peace and security. Whether that threat comes from within the system or from outside forces, it's going to be intense. The terminal list. Dark Wolf Season 2 has so much potential to dive deeper into this world of espionage, moral complexity, and the personal costs of living in the shadows. We'll just have to wait and see if Prime Video gives it the green light. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more.